Why is it important to be a good teammate in softball?
I think it's important for you to be a good teammate in softball because it creates that leadership role. I always went by saying you want to learn how to follow before you lead. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned and the toughest skill to learn as well, as far as any other player that's going through that experience. And it's important to have that in a team just because it takes a village to win. And especially with everyone having that same common goal, which is to win, I think that we need to have one pace and one goal, especially for everyone who's, playing. So I think it's very important to have that.
So you've played professional, you've played collegiate for many years at the top level. You've had a lot of really great teammates. What does it look like to be a good teammate?
That's a great question. What does it look like to be a great teammate? I think showing leadership on and off the field is what shows a good teammate. And I think not only that, but just taking the extra mile. And I know I've discussed this with other players and other coaches. When we get to college, we have a certain amount of hours, right? And we check off every single day, morning till noon till at night until we get to study hall and we got to check more boxes. And I think doing outside those hours other work, I think that's what creates the leadership role and also bringing your teammates along. It's as simple as sending a text message in the team group message, like, hey, I'm going to go get some reps in tonight at the cage. Anyone want to come? Would love for y'all to join. So I think that also kind of shows leadership as far as just saying, hey, you do this, you do that, that's your goal, that's your, and I think it's just a better way of leading, showing and carrying outside those 20 hours.
Who are some of the best teammates you've ever had?
Ooh, the best teammates I've ever had, I want to say Sarai New, who is like my soul sister till today. She's just such a charismatic person on and off the field. She would check up on me on my mental state and my physical state, like, hey, are you feeling okay or whatever? And I think that is just the extra mile that we're always talking about in a leader, right? And so that's one of them, and there's a plethora of all of them, but that's one of the ones that just pops up in my mind all the time. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How important is it to be a good teammate?
Ooh, when all hell breaks loose and everyone's yelling at everyone, I think the best fallback is going to your specific leader. Like, dude, what should we do? What's going on? I think the best thing is always being inclusive with your teammates, no matter what type of relationships you have. Yeah, there's going to be cliques. That's fine. You're not always going to be on the same page with 25 different people. Yeah. So I think the best leaders are the ones that can connect in different types of personalities and understanding how to approach them when they are feeling like crap, right? And I think one of the biggest things that we did for a team is that we had a buddy, right? Anytime we strike out or have a bad play and we don't necessarily want to hear, hey, it's okay from a teammate, we always have that person who's going to tell us the truth. Or we can talk to our buddy and kind of just explain hey, this is what I would want to be approached, when I want to be approached, and how to be approached. So I think that's my version of just trying to be a good teammate.
Were there any other tricks or ideas that y'all did to be able to have more,
so I think one of the tricks that we had was having a buddy to rely on when we're having a hard time during a game or practice. But before that, we would give our teammate 90 seconds or an at-bat to really just gather their thoughts, find ground, and just reset. And that was one of our things. She doesn't want to be interrupted, that's cool. I'm okay with that. You have an at-bat to get your shit together. Mm-hmm. That was our motto, that was our thing. And it worked for me. I may have needed a little more than at-bat. I probably told my teammate, hey, take a few so I can get a few. But other than that, I think that was one of the biggest two things that helped us a lot. So, yeah.
Let's go. That's awesome. True or false? Stats are more important than being a good teammate.
False. Okay, this is mind-boggling to a lot of people that the stats, I could give two shits about. I'm not going to lie. And that's just me. I prefer to not know my stats, especially when I'm in season, because there's always this expectation going into season. I think And you can't have expectations in a game of failure or when your chances are all against you. So just having that and not worrying about that is just one pressure off going into an at bat or going into a game. And I think that's a part of that mental game. You know, you don't want to rely on stats so much. And so I think that's what helped me the most. I even told my coach, I was like, I don't really care about my stats. I don't know about my stats. And quite frankly, I just want to finish out with a bang, have fun with my teammates, make memories, and kind of just ball out and have fun. That was my thing. And yeah, I think that's false. For me, stats are less important than being a good teammate.
What are a few small things that players can do to be a good teammate?
A few things that players can do to be a good teammate is, one, pick them up when they're down, especially defensively if you're, playing third or first or whatever the case may be, or you're a catcher and you're guiding everybody. I always like to say, like, hey, Mia, like me and you, like we're okay. Let's get back and look for the next opportunity. So what? We have a lot of time left. We got a lot of game left. We got 3 more innings, and they still got to get 3 outs. So at the end of the day, it's you and me. We got to succeed pitch by pitch. So offensively, obviously give them a break. If they have a bad at bat, when they're ready, approach them like, hey, it's all good. We're okay. It's fine. That's why you have other batters behind you. So what do? We rely on our teammates. That's what we have our team for, right? It's not an I, right? It's not me. You don't win a game, a national championship with just one person. It takes a village. So things like that, just something that's reassuring in the moment. Who cares? So what? Pick your shit up and let's go. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you can do to be a good teammate is picking them up, not only on the field, but off the field. For example, I'm sure a lot of girls in the softball community have heard this, and their coaches, their parents have said this: leave the field better than when you came, especially in the dugout. Clean your bat bag. Do not have your parents carry the bags for you, especially when you're coming from a field to the car, to the car, to the field. No recruits want to see that. So pick your stuff up. You're young. You got it. I know we have 7 more games left, but it's okay. Things like that. And just carrying yourself when you're off the field. Tuck in your jersey. Make sure it's not all flat and messy. I think you just taking accountability for your teammate. Like, hey, it's worth tennis shoes. Tuck in your jersey. Don't eat hot Cheetos in front of the recruits, please. So stuff like that. I think that's just keeping them accountable on and off the field, defensively and offensively, just being reassuring to those players. If you're a high school player, you should probably watch this video because this is my best advice for you guys, especially transitioning from high school to college.